So the second thing that I want to talk about today is my students' second most prominent nightmare, fractions. Oh, I love fractions. The first thing I want you to guys know is that fractions are two things. They're just a division, right? Like it's the number at the top divided by the number at the bottom. That's it, right? And also, they're just numbers. It's just a number. I don't care where you put a fraction, it's still just a number, okay? I see a lot of times that my students will solve a problem, even word problems, which is their third nightmare, right? And they solve it with regular numbers, right? Whole numbers or integers, whatever. And then I write the exact same problem with a fraction and they freak out. Well, how do I do it? I'm like, well, the exact same way you did the first time, right? All you're gonna do is just substitute those numbers for a fraction or a mixed number or whatever, right? But it's still the same concept. And I want you guys to focus on the concept, okay? Of where does that come from, all right? That's my goal for you guys, to have a mathematical mind. All right, so let's start with simplifying a super simple fraction. Let's suppose that we have 10 divided by 25. There's two ways of doing this, all right? Very, very simple. The first thing you can do is do the prime factorization, which is basically you find what are all the factors of 10 and what are all the factors of 25. And you can rewrite this 10 as 5 times 2, right? That's why factoring is so important, guys. And I think I'm going to be talking about factoring next month on my next live, because factoring is pretty prominent with my students too. So 5 times 2, all right? And we can rewrite this as 5 times 5, right? And my favorite thing about math is that you can always cancel out, as long as you're multiplying at the top and the bottom, you can just cancel them out. You cancel the 5 right here. 5 divided by 5 is just 1, so they're canceled out. It's 1 times 2/5, and that's it. This is 2 over 5. That is it, okay? The other way that you can think about it, and this is normally how I normally do it, is that you can find the greatest common factor between both of them, right? And you can say, well, 10 doesn't divide into 25, but 5 does on both, right? So you can divide the top by 5, and you can divide the bottom by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. And that is it. Choose your poison, whichever you want. Okay? The exact same thing. Now, what happens when we're adding them or subtracting them is very, very simple. So we have 1/2, let's suppose we have 1/2 plus 2/3. You probably know that you need a common denominator, but you probably don't know why you need a common denominator. All right, let's suppose that we have 2 pizza pies. All right? One of them is split into 2 different pieces, okay? And the other one, that's like a calzone you're making out of that, right? And the other one, you're dividing it into 3 pieces, okay? So we're gonna make like the Mercedes-Benz logo over here, all right? So you're gonna eat 1/2 of the pie, right? So you're just gonna eat this 1/2 of it. And for the other one, you're gonna eat 2/3 of it, okay? Now we're gonna assume these are personal pizzas, you know, like the little ones, because that would give you a stomachache, but that's okay. All right, so if we have 1/2 plus 2/3, we're adding those amounts of slices. Well, there's a problem. I don't know how many final slices I have, because all I have is that I have 1/2 and I have 2/3, right? But what if both pizzas were cut into the same amount of slices, right? If both pizzas were cut into 6 pieces, right? So if I were to continue this, right there. Now I have 6 slices on this pizza, and I would do the same thing for this one, right? And we're gonna assume they're all the same size, okay? So assuming that they're all the same size, right? Now I can say, well, I ate 3/6 of this pizza over here. 3/6 of this, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, but you ate 3 of them. And you ate 1, 2, 3, 4 out of those 6 slices. All right? Now I can say, well, I ate 7/6 of all the slices. Okay? And that's why you need a common denominator. Because if you have different sizes of slices, then you can't add them, right? Like I'm just gonna have to leave them at that. I'm like, well, 1/2 and 2/3 or whatever. Okay? And that's it. And if you were to subtract, you do the exact same thing. You just have to cut them in the exact same amount of slices, and then subtract, you know, this from this many or whatever. All right. Now the shortcut for this, if you're a little more advanced and you understand the concept, the shortcut basically is that you multiply by the opposite, right? So, or the other denominator, right? So I would multiply this times 3, and I would multiply this one times 2. But if I multiply only this by 3, I have 1/6. I can't have that. 1/6 and 1/2 is not the same thing. 1/6 would be this, 1/2 is the whole thing, right? I have to multiply the top as well, all right? Because then I would have 3 6s, which is what I actually have, right? And I would have to multiply this top times 2 as well, right? Because I had 4 6s, not 2 6s, right? So it would have to be 4 over 6, which when I add them together, you know, but this would give me 3 over 6, right? Plus 4 over 6, which gives me 7 over 6, right? I hope that makes sense. Please let me know in the comments if it doesn't, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.